All right, so we're going to get a quick rundown here of the Google Calendar. So if you're at google.com and you're signed in, you just click on the little calendar icon, and that brings you up to your sort of generic starter calendar. What we're going to do is we don't just want to work with a generic calendar, we want to create a new family calendar. So you just hit the create button, and you go in and, in this case I'm calling it family calendar. We'll put a brief description in here, handle events, birthdays, and happenings. Location, well, I'm in Raton, New Mexico, so we'll put it there. United States, Mountain Time, everything there is correct. And permissions. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. There's a button here that says you can click and make this calendar public. And that's one way to do this. So you can click that and it'll give you a public calendar feed. If you're like me and maybe don't want all of your family's information public, well, there are other ways to do that. So let's click off that for now and then just take a quick tour, and then I'll show you how to assign certain people to view this calendar. So now we've got the family calendar that's created. We can turn off the other calendars, so those basically like overlays. So this is a way of keeping my family calendar and my, say, personal calendar separate. Going underneath the settings, well, we've got to set a couple of things. Just scroll through this, time format, kind of how you want to look at the calendar. Week view, you can do month view, how many days, location. Well, actually, I already put the location in. Let's do that again. I'm in Raton, New Mexico. And then you have an option to show the weather, which is kind of nice. And I'm just going to set it to Fahrenheit because that's what we use. And then if you want to do anything else in here, video calls, no. This is just basically going to be a display piece only. We're not going to need any alternative calendars, but it's nice to know they're there. When you're done, hit the save button. And you'll see that the weather then appeared on the calendar screen itself. Okay, so from here we're going to enter and put our first event. And so Aiden's birthday is coming up, so we'll just put a birthday in there. I have it under the Garrett calendar, but you want to make sure that you put this underneath your family calendar, and then that's going to appear. Now then, by going into settings and actually defining who can use the calendar, that's going to be a big step in letting people put in their own events on there. So you see we have the birthday calendar here, we have the family calendar right there. So we want to click up on the share and edit here, and we're going to put in who gets to use this calendar. So we talked about Aiden. Let's put his email address in there, and then we're just going to add him as a person. We're going to allow him to make changes to events so that he can actually put his own events in there, or even change a time if something were to come up. And then just click add. That sends him an email, and then he'll get an invitation to the calendar where he can add it in. And then we'll put Liz in here too, so that she can do the same thing. She can make changes to events, add and remove. She is going to get an email, and then save it. And now everyone's going to have access to the calendar, and they'll be able to update it and basically keep it accurate as the months go on. And you kind of see on the settings, there's also a labs tab, and this is kind of gives you different things you can put in there. We're not going to be using any of these, but if we're doing a full walkthrough, you might as well check out and see what other options you can do in here. We're just setting up a family calendar that's going to be displayed on the smart frame, but there are certainly other options that if you wanted to use this, or maybe you're already using it as your own calendar, well, that's great. The only last thing that I really kind of want to show you as we're going through this is if you do have multiple calendars, you don't necessarily want to be showing what's on the family calendar. You can just click off of your other calendars, or you can click on the family calendars and say just display this calendar only, and then that'll show exactly what's going to go on the smart frame, so that you have a really good impression of what that's going to look like. That's pretty much our walkthrough. We showed you how to set it up, how to assign it so that it's just for family members, and now we're going to apply this to the Chromium browser in the tutorial itself.